Guys, welcome back. Brand new video today. First game of the 2024 NFL season, Ravens versus Chiefs. Before it gets started, you guys, link in the description below. Hop into the premium Discord, $9.30 per month, 31 cents per day. It is where I post all the plays I'm making on PrizePicks. Other cappers in there as well. Super positive community in there, you guys. Every member just trying to help each other cash. Again, link in the description below for that. I also want to mention for this video, given the current state that I'm in, like the actual state in the country, I can't see the PrizePicks board, so I'm going to be showing these plays that are on Outlier. Again, these plays are on the PrizePicks board, but I just can't show the PrizePicks board. So again, keep that in mind. This is going to be the only time this happens really all season. I do apologize, but nonetheless, you guys, let's get into it. Stay to the end of the video. I'll be talking about Daily Grind Fantasy. This is a research betting tool, DFS optimizer that I do use every single day. There's a link in the description. Get it 25% off your first month. But stay to the end of the video for that. Two player props that I do like for this video, you guys. NFL, Thursday Night Football. It's starting, you guys. It's here. Been waiting for this one. Chiefs Ravens 3-point spread in Kansas City. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. So the first play that I am looking at is going to be Isaiah Pacheco over 2.5 receptions. I think there's a lot of value in a play that he hit at 61% last season, 11 of 18 games he went over this line. Isaiah Pacheco, if we look at kind of how his workload increased over the course of last season, right? His workload just continued to get bigger and bigger, especially out the backfield. From week 11, he saw 21 routes run, 27 routes run, 19 routes run, 23 and 27. So from week 11, he essentially averaged around 23, 24 routes ran out of the backfield for an Andy Reid offense that loves to put the running back to catch the ball here. And we look at these Chiefs vacated targets. J.Eric McKinnon, right, the main receiving threat out the backfield, is no longer on the team. He saw 34 targets last year, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 26 targets. So we're looking at 60 plus targets now, no longer in the backfield for at least this game here, game one. I know they signed Samaje Perine, and I don't think that has or plays much of a factor here really at all. But we look at the Ravens, right, last season. Over the course of the last 8 weeks of last season, you guys, the Baltimore Ravens allowed the most. Sorry, let me go to last 8 weeks here. Last 8 weeks of last season, this is including the playoffs. The Baltimore Ravens allowed the most targets to the running back position, 52 total targets to the running back position out the backfield. They have strong linebackers, right? Roquan Smith, Patrick Queen, and they love to pressure the quarterback, which I think puts, Pacheco in a lot of options for checkdowns from Patrick Mahomes. Now we look at running backs last season versus the Ravens that saw 10 plus rushing attempts. Essentially the last, I think, 6 or 8 of the last 8 running backs that saw a decent workload versus the Ravens went over this line, right? So we look at Pacheco in the playoffs versus Baltimore. He had 4 targets for 4 catches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of the last 8 running backs with 10 plus rushing attempts have cleared this receiving receptions line at 2.5, and actually 7 of 8 had at least 4 receptions, so giving us essentially a 1 reception kind of cushion here. But we look at Isaiah Pacheco last season in games without Jerick McKinnon. He was over this line in 4-4. 7 targets, 7 catches, 4 targets, 4 catches, 4 targets, 3 catches, and 5 targets for 5 catches. And these are 4 games last season, not including the playoffs, without Jerick McKinnon on the field. So I think without Jerick McKinnon, kind of Chiefs offense. We've seen Andy Reid talk about it in the offseason, how, he thinks Pacheco's ready for just a massive workload out the backfield. We saw going back, I think 2017, 2018, the type of role that Kareem Hunt had in that backfield with Patrick Mahomes as a quarterback. He caught a ton of passes out that backfield. And at 2.5, I think it's elite value in my opinion for a player that went over in 11 of 18 games. And given just the ton of personnel changes that we saw in the offseason, I think we see an increased workload for Pacheco out the backfield running his routes. I like his over 2.5 receptions on PrizePicks. Second play is going to be Derrick Henry over 12 fantasy score. This is currently on the PrizePicks board. And Derrick Henry, I like the spot to offer him for a player that went over in 11 of 17 games last season, first with the Tennessee Titans. We saw Derrick Henry, like I said, last season play with the Titans. Uh, Not great quarterback play whatsoever. A lot of up and down quarterback play and behind one of the worst offensive lines in the league. And he was still able to go over this line in 11 of 17 games. Again, this is outlier, you guys, by the way. This is how I am showing the PrizePicks plays on the board, given how I can't show the board right now. But 11 of 17 last season, debatably one of the worst scenarios. Now he moves over to the Ravens, which if we look at the last season's 2023 offensive line rankings, the Ravens had the third best offensive line in football, and the Tennessee Titans had the 31st ranked offensive line. So he's moving from the essentially one of the worst offensive lines to a top five offensive line, and on a team and an offense that loves to run the football, right? We know that the Ravens love to run the football. Going back to last season, the Ravens ran the football the most in the NFL, 541 rushing attempts. For the Ravens last season. So we know the read option between him and Lamar Jackson is going to be absolutely extremely tough to do. John Gruden talk about this in this article. You can see here he believes the Derrick Henry Lamar Jackson combo will be a nightmare to defend. Lamar going one way, Derrick Henry going the other way. Said I want to be a part of trying to defend that. And it just presents a great opportunity. I think there's going to be a ton of room for Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry to both thrive. Look at PPR fantasy score game log and running backs last season that saw 11 plus rushing attempts. First, the Chiefs on the road, 6 of 7, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 6 of 7 running backs that essentially saw 11 rushing attempts at least on the road in the playoffs. First, including the playoffs versus the Chiefs, went over this line. I mean, the only player that didn't hit here was Austin Eckler. But like I said, Derrick Henry going from essentially the worst offensive line in football to one of the top five best. I mean, I think he's just going to thrive. I think the Ravens also over the last 5 years are like top five in running back yards before contact, and a player like Derrick Henry who thrives off contact should have a really but looking, another thing I wanted to share, let me know in the comments below if this is a little bit of a reach, but going back to 2022, when Derrick Henry played with Malik Willis, who is a dual threat quarterback, right? We look at Malik Willis, 7 rushing attempts, 8 rushing attempts, 5 rushing attempts. He started 3 games for the Ravens, or sorry, for the Titans back in 2022. Houston twice and Kansas City. We look at those game logs for Derrick Henry when he played with Malik Willis versus the Texans. Malik Willis started, only quarterback to play in that game. 32 carries, 219 yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns, along with 1 catch for 9 yards, right? This is like 30 plus fantasy points. He faced the Chiefs with Malik Willis. Derrick Henry, 17 carries, 115 yards, 2 touchdowns, um, well over 12 fantasy score. And then against the Texans again with Malik Willis. Malik Willis played the whole game, 23 passing attempts. Derrick Henry, 23 carries, 126 yards, and a touchdown. Also saw 2 catches. So you can see the type of production that Derrick Henry saw with a dual threat quarterback like Malik Willis. Now he plays with debatably the best dual threat quarterback in football with Lamar Jackson. So again, the floor for this play at 12 fantasy score to me is super high. I think given if he can get us a couple of receptions, maybe if he scores a rushing, this will soar over in my opinion. So yeah, for these video, this 2 plays for this PrizePicks Thursday Night Football video is gonna be Pacheco over 2.5. Derrick Henry over 12 fantasy score. Again, let me know if I'm reaching here with this kind of research, but I think it's strong research considering Derrick Henry has never really played with a dual threat quarterback. But nonetheless, I love Derrick Henry 12 fantasy score over Isaiah Pacheco over 12.5 receptions. Before I end the video, I wanted to share Daily Grind Fantasy. This is a research DFS tool that I do use every single day. They have, they use platforms, PrizePicks, Underdog, Parlay Play, Better Picks, Boom Fantasy, Hot Streak. Like if you're on Sleeper, right? Lamar Jackson under 1.5 pass attempts, minus 175 on Sleeper, 61.1% odds to hit. Right? We go over to PrizePicks. Daily Grind here does all the hard work for you. It takes the lines from every major sports book and combines it and gives you essentially an odds to hit, right? Which again, the top play on the PrizePicks board for this video would be JP Sears over 5 pitching strikeouts, a 54.4% odds to hit, given how he's listed on books at 4.5. But we go to like the NFL play, the top NFL play at the time of me recording this video, over on Daily Grind Fantasy, right? We're gonna see this again. You can filter to every sport, stat type, etc. Hold on, let's go back and see this real quick. I do apologize for the lag in the video. Let's see. So if we filter this to NFL only, let's see if we can filter this to NFL, guys. I do apologize if you stayed to the end of this video. Again, there's a link in the description. You get a 25% off your first month here on Daily Grind Fantasy. But again, going back to this, let's see if I can pull up this NFL board here. So the top play for this video, and again, lines change fast, right? Lines move every single second. Sportsbook. So again, Daily Grind does all the work for you. If you refresh this board, right, they'll give you the top play every second, right? It refreshes in real time. Like the top play on the board right now, me recording this video, which it could be a different play by the time you're watching this, would be Jerome Ford under 13.5 rushing attempts, 53.72 odds to hit because it's listed on FanDuel minus 140 and DraftKings minus 135. So you take this into consideration, right? And it gives you these top plays. Again, this changes crazy. There's a ton of line discrepancies, you guys, across all books. So again, 25% off your first month with the link in the description. But nonetheless, you guys, Prize Picks, 2 plays, Thursday Night Football, Peko over 2.5 receptions, Derrick Henry over 12 fantasy score. Again, I apologize, I can't show the Prize Picks board. This will be the only time that happens. Drop a like, hit that subscribe button, you guys, and as always, let's cash.